Welcome to Network Today. I'm Cheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're here to take you from meeting people to
making money.
That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. Right? And you made some money. You're making some money.
This has been a great week. And you know what? I owe it to Network Today because, you know, it's helping me focus on improving my networking skills.
Okay, so now we need to do a whole show on Network Today, recreating a Network Today for those who want to do a Network Today to expand their networking, right?
Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm glad this is working since, we're working through it. So that's great that it's working for you. But the truth is, we all know, and the reason we got started with this was because we got to make money at this thing. And it's still hard for me. I have to admit that it's not always hard, but we have hard times that we go through, right? Where mentally we're just like fatigued.
Well, I think too, I think another angle on it too, Cheryl, is the fact that, you know, we're caught up into these networking meetings of meeting people and we forget what the purpose is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And, you know, it's like we're out to, you know, we're partying every networking event. And I think this is, what you and I talked about of what we want to accomplish on Network Today is it's gain. I love the slogan. It's meeting people and making money.
Yeah. And we're here to help you shorten that long game because it is relationship building. Yeah. It's not a selling process. And the topic today, there are two topics we're going to be addressing kind of back to back that are like, wow, we might get into some deep, dark territory, but this is no response. You kind of relabeled this.
Yeah, I kind of, you know, no response, ghost alert. You know, Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, we do.
You know, it's so amazing, Cheryl, is how many times we have a one-on-one and we have a great one.
Yeah.
You know, we connected. We talked about how we can help one another. And then as soon as that person leaves, poof, they disappear. What happened, Cheryl? Tell me.
Don't know. But it does happen more often than not. And so that is one of the things that we're trying to prepare everybody for is that you're going to have to work through some that you just have to prepare yourself that that's going to happen. So what is, in your opinion, the definition of no response or ghosting?
You know, it is a great question. And I really think what it is, it's the unprofessionalism that we encounter out there with the people that we meet. You know, they don't understand really the rules of the game. And so no response. I mean, really, that's just bad etiquette, number one. But again, it's lack of professionalism.
But no response in your book. So if somebody's falling into the no response or response category, okay, so now I'm going to fall into the no response category with Rob because I didn't do what?
They didn't do what they said they were going to do in the one-on-one. They were going to send me a lead. They were going to send me some information. They were going to do a virtual introduction for me, connect me somebody on LinkedIn. So they made a promise.
Yeah.
And then no response.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Oh my goodness. And I try to write those things down and ping people on them nicely. Like, hey, buddy, remember.
Right.
And I do forget sometimes too, but
right.
You want to make that the exception, not the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But so we're going to really talk in depth about this because it is an issue. And unfortunately, everybody's kind of moving at warp speed and it happens. But you want to make sure you're not the repeat offender. Right.
And the thing about it too is if you really think about it, Cheryl, with the number of one-on-ones that you and I have had, the hours we spent that, and it's been wasted. So I love this topic today because it's got me to reevaluate now my strategy in approaching who am I going to have a one-on-one with?
Yeah. So it's really about building systems and making sure you follow up on those systems. All right. Because this, again, might feel a little like, wow, you guys are bringing the house down. We're going to bring you up with a really great networking story, something that's happened to us recently, and we call it a big grand slam when we come back.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
All right. It is Grand Slam time. So we're going to talk about something that through the networking process has now netted results. All right. You got some amazing ones. So I'm going to let you go first.
Well, yeah, it's been a great week. And, and the thing about the Grand Slam is I always consider, even if I only hit a single, that is really good because you've got to hit 3 singles to hit your Grand Slam, right? And you were the one that told me about that. But I got a great success story this week. And it was a guy that I met at one of your events, Cheryl, Mark Luckridge. He's a credit card processor. And again, young, dynamic man, really a go-giver, very proactive, a professional in all the way. And we had a one-on-one probably 2 months now. And we connected. I could see that he was a serious professional networker. He took his career very serious. So we exchanged a couple of leads. And really, that didn't turn out. But he stayed in contact with me in the last 2 months. I mean, he was more proactive than I was. And this really was awesome to see. I could just say, this young man is going places. But just this week, I got a call from Brian Jennings, who said, Mark Luckridge referred me to you, and I need a new phone system. So anyways, he comes to my office. Turns out there's some other things that I can do for him. I'm inviting him to Mid-Market Professionals this month. And again, it was just so neat to see that the success of the one-on-one because we had the follow-up, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Right. But you know what I find really great about this story that you're telling is that it was a money story, right? Potentially. I mean, you have the potential to do. I know you're still working on the business, but it's a potential for revenue that came out of a networking situation with follow-up included in that. But then there's additional follow-up with this new connection, right? That you can plug them in and help them grow in other ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what networking's all about. It's not just about us growing, and we can get our eyes off of our own belly button and start looking at other people and how we can help them grow.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
Absolutely.
Eventually. We want that to happen sooner than later. So that's one of the systems is follow-up.
Well, why don't you tell me about your success story this week?
So mine comes from, and I may have mentioned her in one of my other ones. So Karen Hartman, just a dear friend of mine. We were in radio together for a long time. And then she has branched out since, and she's this power real estate broker over in East Dallas, the Lakewood area. And she was throwing some kind of charitable party a couple of years ago, introduced me to some people there, a young gal named Jamisha. Well, again, staying in contact with people. This is so important. So Karen and I continue to stay in contact, even though we're so super busy. And she says, Cheryl, you need to get to know Jamisha again. Because since this whole pandemic craziness, Jamisha started her own trucking business.
Oh my gosh.
Like she just went out and bought a trucking. She went from teaching to buying a trucking company. Now, so this is important to know or to really keep in mind that somebody might not be doing something that you can actually directly do business with them at that time. But life changes, doesn't it? And so staying in contact with people and letting them know the projects you're working on right now. So when I let Karen know, hey, this is really a focus for me right now is helping truckers and trucking companies. And she's like, Jamisha. So Jamisha and I sit down, have one of the best one-on-ones that I've had in a long, long time. And she's like, Cheryl, I know you're doing will workshops. Oh my gosh, I'm bringing in my whole neighborhood to do a will workshop. So not only helping her and her team, and now helping her sphere of influence. So it was really something that was meaningless a couple of years ago, but because of staying in that contact, right? Staying in contact will, as long as you continue to be intentional, net you results.
Yeah, and it's really the consistency that we're looking at too. So many times that we forget, we do it once, we do it twice, and then we stop it. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Slap myself.
Yeah.
But we've got to remember that consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I felt like in my case, it wasn't necessarily a grand slam. I felt like right now we're kind of rounding second.
Okay.
But we're bringing some people in.
Yeah.
We're bringing some people in. Scores on the board.
There you go.
So,
that's a great story.
I know. So we will be right back. You're smart. You're watching this. But did you know that 2 out of every 3 Americans will deal with a legal issue this year? Half of those will spend 13 days working on those issues. At Empowered Advantage, we help with the stuff of life. Letter M as in marvelous, howardadvantage.com. I can't believe we got this guest, Rob, the guest of guests.
The celebrity, the one and only, Miss Grace Speese, the president of the Farmers Branch Chamber of Commerce, the best tiny chamber in DFW.
But it ain't tiny anymore. Thanks to Grace, right?
You guys are too kind. Thank you.
Now, and you've been with the chamber how long, Grace?
Almost 3 years as president, and I was a member before that. So
wow.
And I've got a great story about Grace because I've been a member of the chamber now for a year and a half, and it was because of Grace and a couple of the other guys on the board of directors. But she actually cold called me with a couple of other chamber members. And, I have not been involved in a chamber forever and ever and ever, kind of had a negative approach to it. But she passed the litmus test, and that was she did the typical sales call. And I said, you know what? I'm going to wait and see if there's any follow-up because 99% of sales reps never follow up. 2 days later, boom, back through the door again.
with my book report.
And it was just so she won me over right there. And it has been one of the greatest things that's happened to my company the last year and a half of being associated with the Farmers Branch Chamber. And then the direction that Grace is giving it has just been phenomenal. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And it's great to see a chamber that's so locally plugged in, right? We've got a topic that we need to cover. But I have to say, one of the things that I think really helps you in your position and helps this grow through your leadership is the fact that you are your name, right? So you operate in such a graceful, fun, lovely fashion. I just love that. So it's hard to imagine that somebody like you might have a situation that's a no response networking situation. Does that ever happen?
It happens to all of us, even the best of us.
So tell me, in your situation, if you've got somebody, maybe it's a member, maybe it's somebody that you're networking or collaborating with and you're ghosted. How do you handle that?
Well, honestly, that does happen pretty regularly. I really think that I believe in, generally assumptions are bad. But I just assume people are busy. As a busy person, and it depends again on the method of communication. But, emails easily get dropped down. Yeah. You don't know, just people are busy. So I like to just assume, hey, maybe they forgot, it slipped their mind. I always have things pop in my mind at 2 a.m. That's kind of a running joke in our office of, oh, yeah, I need to buy a refrigerator for our new office or this or that. And these thoughts come to me at 2 a.m.
Right.
So I assume that maybe it's just in that space of, oh, yeah, I meant to. Or I keep forgetting, but, again, I like to assume the best of people first.
Right.
And otherwise, I just not otherwise offended.
So how do you continually follow up with them without it being oh my gosh, I am offended, right? Or them even assuming you might be offended, right? Because some people might assume, hey, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to get back with them. Now they're going to be offended. So how do you follow up?
Well, I like to go back to the old school. It goes back to meeting with them in person, a handshake. So, especially since we're in the community of Farmers Branch and, surrounding areas, I feel like there's no reason that I can't pop in their office and say hi, or at least pick up the phone and have a phone call because I feel like things are lost in email or LinkedIn messages or whatever. Yeah. And I always like to say this, you always want to communicate with people the way that they want to be communicated with. Yeah. And sometimes we don't know how that is in an initial contact. But I feel like the face-to-face, the in-person relationship isn't going anywhere. Yeah. It's still just as valuable, if not more valuable, as we become a more technological society. So that's my biggest recommendation. Go swing by their office, especially as a chamber. I think that it's easy. Well, and you guys do a ton of networking. So, and I take a sheet of upcoming events and I invite them to the next event. So I just kind of have a reason to show up. Sometimes we'll bring goodie bags or different things like that. But, create a meaningful point of engagement.
So it sounds like then, Grace, what you do is not even address the fact that they didn't reply. So, because I do think that might be in our heart to say, I can't believe you didn't respond. But you just kind of move on with something that's topical and allow them to kind of save face a little, right?
I don't see what that solves any problems to point that out. And, I think that, again, you just assume busy people are busy. And,
that's right.
just, I don't know, again, not to piggyback on what you said earlier, but, I just have grace for them.
Yeah.
And just keep going.
That's right. I think that's really good. Rob?
Well, I think the whole thing for me too is because as human beings, we're emotional, that what we have to really do is not take it personally. And because, we are these networking machines where we're going to event after event after event, we have so many numbers, and the other people in the same situation where they've got so many people that they've got to follow up with. So it's kind of impossible. So it's a big forgiveness there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if we learn to just understand what Grace was saying, we're all busy. We've got to not take it personally. And then again, the true people that are really going to be a major part of your networking circle will get back to you, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. Now, so I'm going to go here with this. What if you have multiple no replies from the same person? When do you move on? Ever?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you time and you engage that, but I don't know that there's a timeline for every relationship that you want to build.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, for example, it just depends on your spectrum. Our title sponsor for our golf tournament, they're super busy. I don't have a response from them on their team names or things like that, but I know they're going to show up to our golf tournament.
Yeah.
If it's more of a cold call, which again, I love cold calling. To me, it's a game. I like the challenge. And so, you just make it fun and you do what makes sense for you.
Okay.
But I've had a long sales career, and sometimes I've spent a year or 2 years of following up with people. And sometimes those turn out to be your best clients, your biggest sales, because they can, like, again, busy, difficult to get a hold of people. They're going to respect your perseverance.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a never give up kind of person, but I do eventually move on. And then maybe 6 months later, I'll be like, oh yeah, that person. Well, let me check in with them. And randomly, sometimes I'll invite them to a luncheon, and they don't respond to my email about the luncheon, but next thing I know, they've become a member of the chamber.
Right.
So
Right.
just people are very random, and you don't know. So you just do what makes sense for you.
Yeah. And being gracious about it. I think that really super helps. And Rob, when we have a cold calling episode, we need to make sure to have Grace back.
Absolutely.
Because her hotel, right? It's a hotel background.
Yes. Well, actually, I sold Cutco before that for 10 years.
Oh, my goodness.
So in-home selling knives to housewives was really where I got my bread and butter of sales experience. So
I have one of those.
Oh, good.
They're awesome knives. So, nothing like doing that to help you prepare for what it is that you're doing. But if you have a chance to catch up with Grace, please do on LinkedIn. Spell your last name for us.
Speese, Speese.
Okay. All right. So Grace Speese, who is the president of the Farmers Branch Chamber. You're going to love getting to know her. And for those of you who are in the DFW Metroplex, plug into the chamber because your luncheons are free to anybody, right?
Yep. They're open.
So, I mean, you have to pay to be there, but open.
Yeah. It really just covers the cost of catering as,
Yeah.
like you would have any lunch. But yeah, it's a great group. We have over 50, 70 people sometimes. So
First Friday luncheon is a wow event. I mean, great new people always. And it's an opportunity, again, with the ambassador program that we have at the chamber, will not feel alone. There will be someone always introducing you to people within the luncheon. So it's a great place.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we've really worked hard to make sure that we're free of clicks and always friendly and welcoming to anyone who comes to our community. So
that's a big hallelujah.
Yeah.
No clicks.
Yes.
So Grace Speese, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Rob.
You bet. Thanks for coming.
So, Rob, I just love being around Grace.
Well, she's so positive. She's so happy. She's got such a great big smile. I love it.
I know, which truly, when you have somebody like that in a position like she's in, and she's so vivacious, talking about not having a reply and how she gets past that, I think is so super important because she has a vast sphere of influence, right? A vast sphere of her peer group is large. And so she just moves on and then drips back.
Well, no, she's the real deal because, again, as a professional, she has the follow up. She does the things that we want as networkers of providing referrals. Making introducing you to new people. I mean, she's the real deal.
Yeah, it's awesome. So What was it about what she talked about that really struck a chord with you on the no reply situation?
Well, I think kind of her never give up philosophy, which, I think to a certain degree, I have that same thing. The only thing I would have added to that would be the fact that when you do sort of write that last email, it's always in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if you then don't send it, keep on sending them, that you left them in a positive way. And so that way, that when you meet them up a year from now, they're still going to have in their mind that, whoops, I forgot to get back. But so I love her never give up attitude. And again, that's the way she is in real life.
Yes. You know what stuck out to me, and I'm going to start using this because I thought this was really great. She takes in a flyer of upcoming events, right? So if there's a no reply from, in our case, we're talking about networking, right? No reply from somebody that, you called it ghosting. So you've been talking to somebody and it looked like it really went well. And then all of a sudden you're just ghosted. You don't hear from them again for a long period of time or maybe never. And how you continue to engage without it sounding like, where are you? Is, inviting them to another event and acting like nothing, like they haven't not responded. Does that make sense?
I think too is that this is one of the important things that all salespeople should do is, maintain their database of their networkers, and then whether they do a monthly, quarterly newsletter or something like that. So you are staying in touch. But again, the whole thing is, don't take it personal. Everybody is busy. They're doing lots of things. They will always remember that, hey, Cheryl kept on sending me the event schedule, and you move on.
Yeah, I had a situation where I won a very large car dealer group because I kept just dropping cookies by their place. So this is back when you could. I mean, I guess you can again now, but we've got the periods where you couldn't. But I just kept dropping cookies by with a handwritten note, right? So I just kept doing that, and so finally I said, "Okay, Cheryl, we're ready." And at the manager meeting, they presented me with a present that was called their Tenacious Award, their Tenacity Award.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I didn't realize it was being tenacious. I was just trying to be gracious. But through that, it was just continually not really having any expectations other than just re-engaging with the discussion, right? Just hoping we can begin to have a conversation. And it did. Mm-hmm. And so it turned out to be a really great situation moving forward. So there we are. I can't wait to have Grace back. And we've got more coming up.
Are you a creative or entrepreneur with a business idea that needs just a little bit of help? Purple Cow Branding is the best digital marketing agency for your small business. Whether it be your website, social media, branding, or even video production, we're here to help your business be outstanding. Go to purplecowbranding.com to find out how we can help you. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
So we're going to talk about no response stories, a little ghost story that you have that you shared with me that I thought was scary stuff. And crazy, kind of eye-opening. Tell me about it.
Again, it's just like I was just dazed after this one-on-one because I thought it was like one of my best one-on-ones I've ever had. Really liked her. I knew we could help one another. We were talking back and forth about the people we knew and businesses and our customers that we could refer to. And she was really nice and everything. And we end our meeting. I walk her to the elevator and, I just can't wait to see you next time. And poof, never heard back. Emailed her, sent her a message on LinkedIn, emailed her, and nothing.
Wow.
And I was just so amazed. And I think that was probably like a year ago, where I think that really got me started to really think about this one-on-one process and people ghosting you.
Yeah. Is she still in the business?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
She's has not appeared.
Okay, good. So as long as I'm not seeing her looking like throwing her a little shade, that's good. So you have, in your studious fashion, written 9 bullet points. And I really want to highlight on one of these no response ghosting bullet points that I think is really, really important. So I like number 7, and you're going to see this list online. So you'll see it at networktodaydfw.com. You're going to see it as a resource under this episode. And I like number 7. So in order to keep the no response down, right, and maximize your time, number 7 talks about instead of having a ton of one-on-ones that are brand new, fresh from the gate all the time, circle back and have more one-on-ones. So once you kind of start building that portfolio of contacts and connections and people you're having one-on-ones with, circle back and do what you call is a one-on-one 2.0.
That's right.
Right. And that's how really we start engaging in our sphere of influences and how they could connect. So that way you can have a more meaningful, deeper conversation that then can lead, again, being strategic, to more money faster. And likely those people will begin to respond better and more favorably.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's really important with the kind of the 2.0 process. Because here's what's amazing, Cheryl, is when we see these people week after week at a network event, and then you ask someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, what does Bob do?" And you kind of go, I get
never happens.
I get caught on that. It's like, and that's again why I sort of dove into this to say, I've got to improve my networking skills. And it goes back to building the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you pick.
Okay,
Tell me what your favorite.
I like number 3 where it said, focus on your inner circle, your power team. And this is the thing that we've talked about before where again, we're out there and we're trying to get massive numbers of people into our database. But, let's think about, we want to form that inner circle of people that can help us on a week-to-week basis. That we have that really good synergy where with what I'm looking for a prospect, I could give that lead to someone in my inner circle.
Yeah.
And I want to really work on that and build those relationships so that, again, it's not like getting a lead from somebody every, once a year type of thing. I can help somebody out on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So I'm really going to start focusing on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And we'll talk about power teams. That should be a whole episode on how to build a power team and what to look for and whatnot. But the no response and getting ghosted, don't be discouraged. It's, again, going to go back to that 9 out of 10 times. You're probably going to have people who just don't respond or at least respond to the degree that you're hoping that they respond, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's right. So you're going to see all these resources and other fun stuff at networktodaydfw.com. But we also want to hear from you. So if there are things that we're not doing that you say, hey, would you really talk about this? We want to hear from you, right? info@networktodaydfw.com. Join us on LinkedIn. So Rob Bliss and Cheryl Powers at Powers as in Austin. You'll find us on LinkedIn. We want to connect with you there. What else am I leaving out?
No, I think we're good.
That's right. So you can also see some great episodes with Josh. So Josh, our network detective.
Oh, well,
right?
we got you're also going to see our Cheryl's monthly calendar.
Yeah.
And Rob's library.
Yeah. Lots of great resources there. So we will be back with another episode that's coming up. That's another big one. All right. So Network Today, we are going to take you from meeting people
to making money.
Right. That's what we do. So we're going to see you again next week.
This has been a Purple Cow production.